book of Joshua. We are on track, heading somewhere, a place called there. And by the grace of God, we will get there. We could only count down to the day. As the old prophet said, and it shall come to pass. We look forward for the time we can be able to say, and it came to pass. And it's coming. Mind about it. But just like Joshua, I sense there are things God will have us to do, even as we enter into the promise of the sanctuary at Milimani. As Peter said that I'm not going to be settled, I'll settle myself. In chapter 10 to 12 of the book of Joshua, the tribe who came to Joshua and complained, Joshua, we've been here for all this almost 30 years, we've not been settled, we've not taken our inheritance, we have not had our portion of land, we've not been given our land. Joshua told them, who to give you? Look, you have to fight for your land. Take up swords and spear and go and fight for your land. God has said, this is your land, take it, but it's for you to clear the bushes, clear the trees, and clear the Jebusites, clear the Gabishites, clear them all right, take them out of the land and possess it. Nobody's going to do it for you. But Joshua will give you the leadership as a commander in the army of the Lord. So the two people here, the Joshua spirit and the Israelite spirit. It's our responsibility to ground you in the word. It's our responsibility to show you the strategy of God. It's our responsibility to hear from God and to tell you, but it is your responsibility to go and possess. Small wonder Jesus told Peter, feed my lambs, feed my sheep. Have passion for me and have passion for the nation. Conquer the nation, Joshua, and settle the people. This day, I will take away the reproach. This day, God started by willing to walk with you as long as you agree to his terms. He says in the book of Hebrews, be ye holy, for I am holy. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 5 that Noah was perfect before God, and he walked with God. And he was found favor with God. People who are to walk with God, they have to be perfect. And for God to work in us, God begins the work of working in us. Philippians 1:6. For this good work that God has begun in you, God will see it unto the day of Jesus Christ. He says, you're like clay. Allow me to break you. Allow me to melt you. Allow me to mold you. Allow me to fill you. Allow me to use you. And for you is to avail yourself and say, Lord, here I am. Work on me. But surprisingly, we rather tell God, it's at my terms. You'll only work on me on my terms. And many of us, we have limited God working in our lives to do that is good in us. In other words, we have said, God, this far and not this much. This far and not so far. So we have areas in our lives that we say, Lord, you can touch my heart, oh God, but don't touch my pocket. Lord, you can touch my heart, Lord, but don't touch my social life. Lord, you can touch my heart, oh God, but when it comes to emotion, Lord, I love her, don't touch her. So we limited the Holy One of Israel. And then we tell him, Lord, perfect me, work me. We say, I surrender all. But in real sense, we say, I surrender some. I surrender some. Because God, if I give you all, then I am done. Allow God, say Lord. And when God says, hands up and hands off, it means that everything is His. It's Him who determines where you go. It's Him who determines what you do. It's Him who determines what you watch. It's Him who determines what you eat. It's Him to determine what you have. But then you say, God, perfect me. How? May God perfect you by having access into your life. If there's somewhere in your life that the doors have been closed, give Him the keys. Let Him open your heart and move to every corner of your life. Let Him have a seat in the center of your life. Let God work in you from within. But many of us have limited themselves. Just stay far. We'll just consult you when we need you. It cannot happen, friend. It's until God has perfected you. You have no inheritance with God. Take you back to Genesis. God called Abraham, chapter 12. And Abraham obeyed. And he started walking with God. For 24 years, Abraham walked with God. Until God said, when Abraham was 99 years old. Now Abraham, walk before me blameless, that I begin to show myself to you. These 23 years, was Abraham not walking with God? And he was still a friend of God. But yet within those 23 years, Abraham backslid. He had Ishmael. But he was still a friend of God and still walked with God. Until God said, no. Now Abraham, I want to have a covenant with you. And this covenant, I must cut a piece of you so that we have a covenant without the shedding of the blood. There is no forgiveness of sin. Blood must be shed. And at 99, Abraham circumcised himself. At the age of 13, he circumcised Ishmael. That began a covenant walk with Abraham. Allow me to use it figuratively, Christian. He knows and you know. You know what really hinders you. You know what's growing on you. You know that sin clings on you. It's you to confess it and say, Lord, take away the reproach. Take away the shame. Take away the disgrace in my life. Lord, take it off, take it off, take it off. Lord, cut it out of my life. He is a faithful God. All to Him, my blessed Redeemer. Surrender all.